big situation that happened that changed that to our perception that we're the United States. And what incident happened? What big event? Did aliens arrive? Of course not! So what happened? We fought a civil war. We fought a civil war. The Civil War was fought for two reasons. Most people that take high school, middle school, even college history will tell you the Civil War is fought for what's the purpose? To end what? To abolish what in the United States? To abolish slavery. Most people will tell you the Civil War in the United States was fought to abolish slavery. And it was. However, not really the main reason why it was fought. The main reason why it was fought is that the states, Virginia and the southern states, felt, hey, United States means the states are important, and if we want to leave, we can leave. Imagine that you're in a health club. You're going to the gym, and they're treating you bad at the gym. You remember, right? If they're treating you bad at the gym, what can you do? Forget you. I'm going to go to another gym because they're going to treat me better over there. Because what's important is me. I have the right to leave if I want to. So the state said, hey, we're united, but we no longer feel that you're treating us well. So we're going to leave. See you later, alligator. Right? And the rest of the United States, the northern states, said, you can't do that. You're not that important. You're not all that. You can't leave. What do you mean you can't leave? It says United States. Well, we want to be the ununited states. And no, you can't do that. And a war was fought. Had the South won the Civil War, then they would have been right in their definition of United States, because the states that wanted to leave left. But the South lost. So their argument about the states being the most important thing was lost in the Civil War. And therefore, from that moment on, 1865 on, we became the United States of America, which is why you think today that the federal government is the most powerful government versus the state government, even though the Constitution tells you otherwise. Okay? That's the perception, because the state of Florida can't say to the President of the United States, we don't want illegal aliens that are coming from the Middle East. We're not going to take them, because we're Florida and you're the federal government. You can't send those refugees to Florida. Guess what? The President says, I don't care about you. If I want to send refugees into Florida, I'm going to do it. Why? Because he can't say, I'm leaving the Union. Florida is no longer part of the 50. We're now 49. Okay? So, the reason we have that perception is because of that. However, our laws, or the large part of the laws that you need to learn in business, are state laws. That doesn't mean that federal laws doesn't affect business. It does, in very profound ways. But the majority of laws that all of you will be learning in order to do what you do are state laws. Okay? So, a lot of your profession is going to be grounded in the state that you're going to be practicing. Because the laws of Florida are different than the laws of New York. As a matter of fact, corporations, big corporations, as opposed to mom and pop corporations, look to see the laws of which states are the most favorable in order to incorporate in that state. Okay? So you may have a corporation that does business in Florida that has all it, but it's incorporated in Delaware, because Delaware for the longest time had more preferable laws to the creation of corporations than other states. So you are going to need to know not only the federal laws that affect you, but a whole lot of state laws. For example, let's say that you're in business administration, but you've been hired to administer a veterinarian business that has many different locations. And there's a couple that I can think of. Well, you're going to need to know a number of things. Number one, you're going to need to know zoning laws. Because I can't open a vet location in this place if it's not properly zoned to have animals there. What do I mean by zoning? Each city is divided into places where you can do certain things. Okay? And if you decide, hey, I'm going to have a nightclub in the middle of a dormitory neighborhood, can you do that? Can you all of a sudden decide, hey, I'm in the middle of Hialeah in a family neighborhood, and my house is going to be a nightclub, and we're going to have music, you know, until 3 or 4 in the morning. Can you do that? No. Why? Because it's not zoned for that. So zoning laws are things that, as you go along, you're going to need to be familiar with in order to properly administer the business that you are working on. Okay? And if you, for example, same business, but now you're in the proper zone, you want to sell alcohol, can you just decide, I'm going to open up shop, I've leased this location, I'm going to go ahead and sell alcohol. Can you do that? No, why not?
Because you need the permit.
You need a license to be able to sell alcohol in Florida. So you need to be familiar with state laws that are important to the business that you're administering, and you need to understand that state laws, county laws, and local laws are very important in what you are all going to be doing out there. So, it's a little bit of primer with regards to the laws. Now, let's talk about the federal government, state government, very quickly, because having a rudimentary, and by the way, I'm not going into a great deal of depth into all of these things. I'm just giving you a rudimentary background that you should have so that you can understand what's going on when you are out there doing and calling the shots. Federal government is divided into 3 branches. Okay? Can anybody tell me the 3 branches of government, of federal government? The executive, legislative, judicial. That is awesome. Okay? The executive branch. Who is the head of the executive branch? And what is the function of the executive branch?
Execute the laws.
Very good. He executes the laws. Who executes the laws? If you heard a crime's going on, you need somebody to execute the law, where would you go?
The police.
You'd go to the police. Now, if you went all the way to the boss of all of the police, who would that be?
The judge.
Nope. That's the judicial branch. Who's the chief law enforcement officer in the entire United States? Nope. That's the legislative branch. Who's the chief law enforcement officer in the United States?
Obama.
And he is what?
The president.
The president. Another title that he has is commander-in-chief. That means it is his job. This is what he does. When you look at the president, we kind of have a perception. But in reality, when you peel back and you go behind the stage, what you see is somebody with a badge. Somebody with a badge. His function is to make sure that the laws of the United States are carried out. Okay? So, you have the president. But he can't give you a traffic ticket, can he? You see Obama stop you in traffic and say, hey, you're going 60 miles an hour on a 55. Probably have to pick you up from the ground because you'd probably be half dead. No, he can't do that. So, how does he do it? And that's part of the executive branch. Okay? Underneath the president, obviously, is the vice president, VP. There's a vice president that said that the job, and you're not going to understand that because we don't chew a lot of tobacco, but a vice president said that the job of the vice president wasn't worth a a mouthful of warm spit. In other words, Vice President doesn't really have a function in life other than the fact that if the President dies, he takes over. Okay? There's no real function. But underneath the President, you have all of the law enforcement offices. You have the FBI, you have the DEA, you have Secret Service, you have the CIA, you have tobacco and firearms, and you have all of these are considered civil in nature. Okay? Now, he also, because he enforces laws outside, let's say that somebody is breaking a law against a U.S. or the United States from outside, he is also in charge of the armed forces. The armed forces, okay? Which is Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guards, Marines, Special Forces. Okay? His job is to make sure that the laws are enforced. And the President has a series of other branches, other people whose functions are to make sure that the laws are carried out, and they're called administrative agencies. Okay? A famous administrative agency that you have to report to in April of every year is the what? Very good, the IRS. The IRS is an executive agency, and if you do not report to them in April of every year and you refuse to pay them, what happens? They come and arrest you, okay? Because you haven't paid your taxes. So, the President is in charge of all of these law enforcement type agencies. And that's what they do. Okay? Now, you have the legislative branch. The word legislate. The word legislate is a verb. And the verb means to make laws. What does legislate mean? Just told you.
Law.
Make laws. Okay? Legislate means laws. The legislative branch, we call it what? It has a proper name. Congress. Congress. And by the way, the President has assistants and aides. You call them the cabinet, and it used to be Hillary Clinton, and she was the Secretary of State, and it used to be, so all of those people are there for the purpose of aiding and assisting. So the President would be the general, and all of these people would be underlings to the general. Okay? Congress. Okay. Can anybody tell me anything about Congress? Is Congress just one big thing, one big black box, and you don't know anything that happens in there? Is Congress divided? Come on, people, you know that. Is Congress divided?
Enforce law.
No, enforcing the law is the President. Congress makes the law. They make the law. But Congress itself is divided into what they call two houses. It's called bicameral. Okay? That probably doesn't mean anything unless you know the word camera or camera, a camera, which means a room. Bicameral means that there's two rooms or two houses. What are the two houses of Congress? Very good. House of Representatives. That's the second house. Every state has two of them. It's a big wig. Rubio is one of these. The Senate of the United States. Okay? The Senate of the United States. And these two houses, they legislate, which we said does what? The word legislate means?
Make laws.
Make laws. So these two houses make laws. They legislate. Okay? House of Representatives, 2-year term. Senate, 6-year term. That means that when you vote for a senator, he or she gets the job for 6 years. When you vote for a House of Representatives, they get the job for 2 years. Okay? Now, which of these two houses have more people?
The same.
Nope. their rule of thumb, there's 2 senators per state. How many senators do we have? Basic math.